Gray Pill Podcast, where truth's unveiled, exploring the depths beyond what is retail. Conspiracies, esoteric knowledge so enthralling. Open up your mind, let's dive into the sprawling. Oh yeah. Gray Pill awaken, question what you know. Peeling back the latest, let your curiosity grow. Uncover hidden realities, break the mold. Come take the journey, let your mind unfold.
And we are live. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Gray Pill Podcast, another episode of ELOHIM Etymology. It's been a minute, but we're fucking back. And yeah, it's time, guys. I'm here with my co-host Adrian West. Adrian, what's up, man?
What's happening, Jules? What's happening, Gray Pilled family? Thanks for your patience for our great return.
Yes, indeed, it is the great return.
The comments are already off.
Oh yeah. It's and I am Nancy. I am. I do. That happens sometimes. Morning, Scott. Good morning, Dunk. Good morning, Curtis. Good morning, Eamon, Rat, Stacks, JC, Nancy. Hey guys. Yeah. I hope you like that intro, dude. It's like a little rough draft. I kind of stole an Integrity song and put it over some images. So it's not like our final intro, but it'll do for now.
It's an adrenaline pumper for sure.
It is. And that song is definitely about one of these entities that we're talking about. The song's called Psychological Warfare. And the starting lyrics are, for as long as time's existence, I've struggled with my own persistence. Blanketed by deceit and willing. It's the whole, they have a song on that album called Abraxas Annihilation. So,
wow.
Has a lot to do with what we're talking about. Yeah. Thank you, Eamon. Fun little intro. Yeah, like I said, it's a little rough draft, not professionally done. We will get there. Guys, if you don't know about this show, so Adrian was my first guest on Gray Pill. He wrote this book. We're gonna
on
shill
the
it.
Shelf.
Yeah, the shelf. Pantheon 1, the Golden Veins. Talks about all these fallen deities that are worshipped throughout time and still today. So, and it kind of gives an origin story as to where they could have came from. There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of theories on what these beings are, but we kind of can trace them throughout time in these stories, these Sumerian stories that go to Egypt and then, tracing through Babylon and Greece, Rome, even into the Bible. We see a lot of these parallels with the biblical text. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating. And we started a show, and yeah, it led us here. Adrian, what you been up to lately, man? Before we get started, you want to tell people kind of a little bit about yourself? We may have some new audience members.
Absolutely. So my name is Adrian West. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Charleston, South Carolina, and kind of a multifaceted upbringing through education, sports, went to college, majored in film production, been in the film, TV, entertainment industry for 15 plus years, filming concerts.
Illuminati confirmed, guys. Illuminati confirmed.
I'm embedded, okay? But now
he is in Hollywood right now, working. So if you see his background, it is the city of angels, right? The city of fallen angels. So Adrian is well protected.
There you go. Yeah, this town has a certain energy, but it kind of fluctuates. You feel like positive energy from the Pacific Ocean and the weather, and you feel like there's potential, but I feel
then you
like
get around the people.
Exactly. It seems like there's been some corruption that has seeped into the hearts and souls of the populace.
That's an understatement, man. I mean, Yeah, and very much. I mean, dude, especially with what's going on right now, in the past year, and I mean, you just kind of went through it yourself. I mean, you said you're from South Carolina. Were you affected by this hurricane?
So less so Milton. We were affected by the one right before that, Helene, but not drastically, not as bad as previous years. Now, I have some friends in Florida who were hit hard. They evacuated for Milton. I do have some friends in North Carolina, Western North Carolina, who got just smacked by Milton. Very unfortunate natural disaster, and natural is in quotation marks.
Right, right.
A lot of the victims of hurricanes, they don't want to hear that. They think it's all really Mother Nature, but as time goes on and technology develops and the truth comes out, it's hard to put it past anyone, like which weather disaster is potentially man-made or orchestrated or intentional or directed.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of rumors lately about that, and I've been talking about it a little bit as well. Not making any claims, but there's a lot of red flags. Especially when the government won't help its own people.
Yeah.
That it sets off something inside of.
Right.
I mean, if you're an American, I'm sure if you're a real American, I'm sure you that made you feel a certain type of way,
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about that, guys. We are here to talk about Thoth. I don't want to get too off track. This is like the first Elohim etymology that we've really done live. So y'all are in for a treat. Let's see. Stack said you got a link for the book. Can't find it, but I'm retarded.
Type in Pantheon Golden Veins on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, Stacks. And you have 5 more books that you're working on, right?
That's correct. They're actually all drafted. So we're just ready to figure out the calendar, the scheduling, the release structure, the marketing plan, and all that. I'm super excited about book 2. I have the table of contents approved. Like, that's where we get into Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden and the real unpacking of the first parts of Genesis.
It's incredible, man. I'm stoked for it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull up a picture here. I know you had sent me some pictures. Let me see. So going back to the beginning, can you give like a brief synopsis of who Ningishzidda is, or where he comes from?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to start at the source, right?
Right.
So if you're watching this, chances are you're a human on planet Earth. If you're not, this doesn't apply to you. But if you are, then we posit the idea that our human species evolved around 300,000 years ago, and there was an intelligent presence on Earth who helped steer that evolution. They were on the planet as far back as 500,000 years ago. So we're talking about the space visitors, whether they're called the Dingir, the Atlanteans, the Anunnaki, the Sky People, what have you. They're referenced by many names across many different cultures. Long story short, the supreme family of the Anunnaki and like the elite pantheon of leaders, rulers, the royal bloodline, they were kind of spearheaded by 2 half brothers or step brothers by the name of Enki and Enlil. And if you've watched this show, we've gone into depth on both of them, and both of them had offspring, and those families kind of bickered a little bit more than bickering. They were warring with each other for hundreds of thousands of years.
Trying to kill each other, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And the collateral effect of that was damaging the planet and wiping out humans on multiple occasions, almost to extinction. Now, there's different sides of the coin. You could say that, like, Enlil's side was the strict one, the warfaring one. They wanted to preserve things, preserve the old ways, and because of that, they had to utilize violence a lot, right? Whereas Enki's side, they were more about sharing information and knowledge and enlightenment with the people and the humans, and bringing the Lulus up to their level so that they could actualize their full potential. So
Yeah.
on that side of the family, you have more constructors, more artists, designers, builders. There's some on both sides, but the most famous ones are Enki and his son Ningishzidda, also known by other names throughout history. I'll call him Zeta for short because his Akkadian or Sumerian name it's a little tough to pronounce perfectly. Ningishzidda. And
yes, I've always even StreamYard has a hard time like putting his name.
Yeah. If you're doing an auto caption, it might ruffle some
It
feathers.
spelled his name completely different.
Yeah. So Enki, the genius Anunnaki leader, the god of water, the lord of the sea, Poseidon, later on in history, right? He had several sons, and it starts with Marduk. Marduk was the oldest, and Marduk was born off-world intentionally with the idea of that being the royal statement that he's still part of the old family.
Yes,
Thoth,
Nancy.
yeah. So, but
His younger brother.
Yeah, after him, we have Nergal, Gibel, Ninagal, Zeta, and then Dumuzi. So out of the five, out of the five famous sons, Zeta is number 4, and it's believed that he was Enki's favorite because, like his dad, Zeta had a super brain and just limitless wisdom, potential, empathy, and willingness to peacefully evolve with the humans on Earth. So that's in a nutshell where Zeta lines up in the family structure. He's literally like one or 2 degrees. He's 2 degrees of separation from Lord Anu, who is, the Lord Almighty to the ancients, and then 1 degree of separation from the Titans, so to speak. So he's one of the true OG gods, spiritual leaders, and pioneers of planet Earth.
Right. And you see his symbolism in a lot of places. He was known by, he really is known worldwide, especially in a lot of these native cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Africa, Tehuti, I think that was what he was known as. Thoth, after, that's a little later on, and then Hermes, and so on. So you have a lot of mystery schools that stem from this one deity, right?
Big time.
Yeah. So I guess here I'm trying to find a better picture we can pull up. There's not that many like cuneiform carvings of him. I think there's one. It's like our background right now, I think.
Right.
Yeah, there's that one. I'm gonna pull that one up. He's like, there we go. Okay, we'll share this so everyone can see because he's like right in the middle. So, maybe a little faster at this. Right. So this is him in the middle, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought,
And
I don't know, that looked like his hair, but then it also looked like he had a pine cone right there.
ah,
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure this on his shoulder is a serpent or a dragon, right?
oh, I see the tongue. Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
good
Um,
eyes.
yeah, yeah. More so a dragon, right? Like, I,
Well, he's part of that family. He's the brother of Marduk and the son of Enki, who is from the reptilian origins of Orion. So
right.
snakes and dragons were certainly part of their half of the family lineage.
Nancy said he looks sassy.
He's about to cast some spells. He's getting in the right mind frame.
And we can get into alchemy a little bit and where that name stems from, alchem, from the land of Kim or Kemet, which is ancient Egypt, right? Um,
Yes.
and he came right out of Atlantis into Egypt. I didn't know where you wanted to start as far as talking about the Emerald Tablets, maybe, um, or his origins as Ningishzidda, and his first story here on Earth, maybe.
Yeah, we can start chronologically and see where it takes us.
Okay.
Or we'll see how the conversation goes and then dive into some of his key accomplishments and see what's left to unpack.
Well, this is going to be a probably a multiple part episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it seems that way. Eamon actually said the hands on the hip. No, I think he's leading this guy. See, he has a hold of this guy's arm. This is probably a
Right.
Lulu or a human. It's what the Anunnaki first called us.
Yeah.
And y'all will be able to tell these words that are used in these Sumerian stories. Or I guess I should say these words we use today. They all come from like some kind of base word in Sumeria. And we've talked about this with the L on zoo, lu, like two syllable or like one syllable words that it kind of all stemmed from, which may have come from just like sounds, right? Sound resonance, sound frequencies. We've talked about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Then you have names like Ningishzidda, and you wonder where that comes from. So
Yeah. Yeah, the ancient names are so fascinating, and then how they change from Sumerian to Akkadian to Babylonian to Egyptian, and then so on and so forth to the Romans and Greeks, the Vikings, man, the South Americas. It's
yeah,
endless.
man, the South American that story we're gonna have to make a whole episode out of that probably.
Yes.
With
Maybe
those different
bring in,
empires, the plume serpents, all that
right.
stuff. The building of those pyramids over there, which look different than the pyramids in Egypt, but serve the same purpose, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
So to break down his name, if we're talking about Elohim etymology, right?
yes, sir.
Nin typically means lord or prince. Gish means tree or wood. And Zeta means truth, faithful, or righteous. So it's almost like he is this foundational root or foundational tree of knowledge and wisdom with the royal pedigree, right? Ningishzidda.
Correct. I'm gonna pull this picture up real fast. All right. So it's funny you say that. Yeah. Talking about the tree of life, and is this Sumerian?
It looks that way. It looks like an artistic recreation of a carving or some sort of artwork. It looks pre-Egyptian to me. So it's either Sumerian, Akkadian, or Babylonian.
Akkadian, yeah, that's what I figured. Now this symbol is used a lot in nearly every image of him. You find these serpents entwining, right?
Right.
And I know that could represent a number of things, but it has something to do with our DNA, right?
I absolutely believe so. So, one, it's an homage to their culture and their own DNA. You know, I don't. Thoth or Zita's mother was Ereshkigal, and he was born on Earth.
Whoa!
There's nothing that tells me he was born like Enki was born.
Wait. That's the mother of Lilith, right?
Yeah.
Lilith's half brother, man.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
But he turned out half all right. That's another fascinating angle, right? It's a different parent or spouse or caretaker during those developmental years will either make you the perpetual god of wisdom or the perpetual lady of chaos.
Absolutely. No, dude, and you see that a lot with some of these entities. They're almost benevolent at times.
Mhm.
And I mean, dude, that's why when you look at these stories I wanted to bring up the strand of DNA because that's kind of the first story in when you see this guy is when he's on Earth and he's helping his father in these like gene splicing, DNA manipulating scientific research. I mean, it's basically research. Hey, Soul Explorer. And using that to create these hybrids, right?
Yes.
That's where I first remember reading about him as an entity, was during that part of the story. And I think we talked about that a little bit. I think it was Inky Part 3, guys. So if y'all haven't watched, we've done our first episode was on Anu, second on Enlil, and we'll probably come back on to those two. Did 4 episodes on Inky and then 2 on Marduk. We still have to finish up that discussion. So if y'all haven't watched our past episodes, man, y'all should go back and check them out. Maybe a little more put together than the live stream, but like I said, this is our first live stream doing this. So,
we're
Lilith,
flowing.
your mom's a hoe. You find that a lot too, man. You find these entities to be very promiscuous, and they like to keep it in the family. Literally,
They sure do.
Yeah.
There's something about whatever's in the bloodline that they love to preserve and keep going.
Yeah, and you see that with these elite bloodlines today, right? They kind of intermarry in each other's families or their own.
Oh yeah, it's still happening in 2024. AD.
Wow. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was saying I don't have any evidence that Zeta was an egg birth like his father was in the Orion system as the son of Queen Maya of, reptilian parthenogenesis birth capabilities. But I think the serpent imagery is half to be an homage to his father and his family on that side. And also, according to the chronicles, the serpent is one of the first animals encountered by Alelu after landing on Earth and discovering it.
He kills it, right?
exactly. In and then it becomes the symbol of medicine. Like perhaps DNA is naturally intertwined like that, and then the serpent is the animal that most represents or looks like DNA the most, just by random chance potentially. So then they lean into that and combine the meanings, combine the symbolism, and now in the modern age, what we're looking at has evolved into the caduceus and is the symbol of medicine globally. And Zidda and his father Enki, although Enki was the lord of the waters and the god of the sea, he was such a super genius that he was also a master geneticist. And
The scientist, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And out of all his sons, he passed that knowledge down to Zidda the most. So Zidda became the next in line to be the supreme scientific genetic engineering guru. And yeah, they ran experiments on animals, hybrid humans, and eventually Homo sapiens sapiens, or the Lulus, was the most successful result of those experiments.
Yes, indeed, dude. And that story in itself is wild. It's wild. Let me see. Nancy sent me this this chart right here, man. I don't know if you've seen this. This is a Nancy, I'm sharing this little pantheon chart you sent me because that's why we're here.
We're here for the charts.
What do you think of this, bro?
Oh, beautiful. This is one of the
beautiful,
oldest,
right?
It's one of the oldest ones I've seen. I've seen this in Lawrence Gardner's books.
Okay.
Like a decade ago when I first started getting into this stuff. This is one of the OG family trees.
I wanted to bring this one up because this is kind of identical to mine and I hadn't even seen it yet.
Okay.
Like this is my second or third time kind of taking a look at this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's some incomplete aspects of it, but
when I
see this, I immediately recognize it. Like I said, from the Lawrence Gardner text, who was one of the first people that really made me build that trust factor with all his research and cross-referencing and just his access to knowledge. If anyone's familiar with Lawrence Gardner, he's passed away now, but he had access to like Vatican archives and underground libraries and stuff that the average human did not. And he wrote several good books. One was pre-Jesus called Genesis of the Grail Kings, and then another one was from the time of Jesus to the modern day age, and all of it traces the same bloodline up into the modern day age, from the Anunnaki to now.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
I was genetically engineered by Yakub. No, you weren't.
You might want to be. Your avatar was.
Right. Hey, there's a similarity there, right, with the whole Yakub story and Enki. I mean, that's Enki. I didn't know what culture it was that Yakub was known in. I know it's used as a meme today, more so than being studied.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Soul Explorer. Maybe you were. Marduk's brother is missing. What do you mean, Nancy? Which one?
Well, yeah, it's only showing one of Enlil's sons, right? Or Enki's sons. It doesn't show.
Right.
It doesn't show Gibble, Ninegal. Is Dumuzi on here?
Dumuzi's down there with the Nana since they were lovers, and then you got Nergal.
Yeah, it's like this is a good tree, but it's incomplete, and there is a better way to make it with all the knowledge we have now.
I don't even think that Ningishzidda is on here.
I don't see him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's on here.
And
So
it's likely because he wasn't the most hardcore warfaring, or like he kind of ruled with a soft fist. He kind of ruled through wisdom, building, teaching, being a philosopher, priest king versus direct warfare. Like here we have Nergal, bomb dropper, you know, Nanar Sin, founder of Islam,
the moon god.
Yeah, Ninurta, bomb dropper, Marduk, bomb dropper. It's like
warmonger, war. Yeah, all of them.
And so perhaps on this tree, Zeta or Thoth was left out. We agree, Nancy.
We will.
Yeah,
we will.
You know, there's
we'll actually we may start working on that.
It needs to be done. It needs to go viral.
Yeah, man. No, let's make it happen. I just wanted to share this with you, so I'm glad you're familiar with this one. But yeah. So let's see.
I'm reading about Yaqub. I thought it was a translation of Jacob, but from the Jewish tradition, but now I'm seeing it's Nation of Islam related.
Really?
At least from this search. And
what does it say whenever you looked at
this? He was a brilliant scientist, dissatisfied with the original race and wanted to create a new race with selective breeding that was intended to rule over time. And I mean, that's like a very limited bullet point version of what I'm seeing. But it's more in the recent era, like the previous 6,000 years. Hey.
I had to pull it up.
That's perfect, man. Dude, that needs to go on a t-shirt that I wear today.
Shit. Yeah, man. Yaqub. Thank you for creating us, Yaqub. We appreciate you.
Respect.
Oh, anyway. That's that infinite head. Good morning, Arcane. Arcane, hold on. Soul Explorer. Archangel Metatron was the king of the netherworld. ? So this is good, man. This is good that we're actually doing this live, because I think you'll be able to go in depth on a lot of these questions a lot more than I would.
Yeah. Keep the questions coming. We can branch off and get interrupted and go on tangents. I know
you said that you were good for like 90 minutes.
Yeah. So, cool. King of the Netherworld, we could be dealing with a translation or a meaning thing here. Like Metatron is the result of the life of Enoch, right? And depending on where Enoch was granted immortality, so to speak, like he might have been on Earth for 365 years, but then he had access to the mana and the Ormus, which created extreme longevity. And then he sort of disappeared from modern society. So whether that's outer space or just being, hidden away somewhere, possibly South Africa, which was known as the Netherworld, right? Below the equator was known as the underworld or the netherworld. So maybe he was king of the netherworld based on his geographic location. And then if you're talking about like the spiritual side of those things, I think Enoch was more one of the good guys and less like, dark underground king like that. Even when he became Metatron, but you can
the lesser Yahweh.
Yeah.
And that's an episode in itself, dude. I know we plan on doing a Book of Enoch episode. That'll be fun. So Ningishzidda.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to. unless you guys have more questions right now, I'm going to get back to it. Like I said, guys, this is a learning experience for all of us. This is stuff we're just throwing out there. This is some of the research that we've done, and our interpretation of these Sumerian texts into today. So we're just here for the ride, and to get something out of this, hopefully, because you do see the symbolism everywhere today of all these ancient gods, regardless of what their name was or when they incarnated. Because I did want to get into the Emerald Tablets a little bit. I know that's probably enough content to make multiple episodes. But let's see. I'm going to bring up another picture here. No, not Yakub. Here we go. Is my service bad? Is my signal bad?
You were fine until like 5 seconds ago, but right now
Okay.
you seem fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Oh.
Well, you glitched twice recently, but that's now this might be 3. Oh, the perils of live streaming.
Yeah, dude.
Illuminati
Good times, though.
interference. Yeah. Great times.
So let's see. I want to share another one of these images. I didn't know if you wanted to. We could.
Yeah. I'll just start talking about. Yeah. So I don't know exactly the year Zeta was born, right? But it's between somewhere, let's call it approximately 400,000 BC.
Okay.
So that's after the Anunnaki have landed, but before the creation of Adam and Eve. So during the Adam and Eve saga, it goes on for so long. Like there's a whole history of events, clearly a complex, long history of events between the birth of Adam and Eve and the Egyptian cultures, which is when Zeta's kind of skill levels, his skills and attributes start entering the history books. So, during that time, he's probably studying the animals on Earth, mapping the constellations, all these high-level scientists or sciences. He's dabbling in the arts, dabbling in spells and all that, but he seemed to be one of the dudes that made good spells for positive results and things like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so there's potentially 200,000 years where he's on Earth, maybe longer, where he's just working under his dad, doing genetic experiments, tinkering around. And then the Egyptian sagas start unfolding, right? So depending on what you believe, as far as the Osiris, Isis, Horus story, right? Whatever time frame that was in the Pantheon books, we have Zeta entering that picture as a healer. So, for example,
hence his symbol being used for medicine,
right?
Or to symbolize the medical field, like what you see on the ambulances and hospitals and the medical seal, right?
Yes.
Good morning, Joey.
And we'll also, like, Zeta had a great reputation over time, but there are some untold parts of this, depending on what you believe, where he does take some of that inky promiscuity and use it.
Oh no.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah, man. Look, all right, guys. So if you don't know, Inky couldn't stop pouring loads into people, into women,
his
having
seed.
children. Yeah. He had a hard time keeping it in his pants. So
yeah, it's true.
Anyway,
and now we're here.
And now
so check this out.
Yeah.
Although Osiris was legally the son of Geb, his real father was Marduk, thanks to the incestuous proclivities of the Anunnaki. Isis, too, was only the legal daughter of Geb. Her real father was Ningishzidda. So there was this backdoor fathering of Egyptian gods and goddesses going on behind the scenes with like a makeshift father over here, but you really have this godlike DNA inside of you.
Yeah.
So we can set that up and unpack it deeper on another episode, but I just wanted to put that out there. And then it goes into, say, after the Seth and Osiris incident, Set had Osiris's corpse cut into 14 pieces, scattered over the Egyptian wilds, which was back then a lush jungle.
Really?
Isis launched a dogged search, assisted by her father/uncle Ningishzidda, and at long last managed to retrieve all the parts of the genitalia. And it was the intimidable Ningishzidda who did his magic, using a process known as artificial meiosis, which still exists in theory today. He was able to create sperm cells from Osiris's retrieved non-sexual parts, inseminated them into Isis when she was ovulating, and that's how the legendary Horus was born.
What? Wait. So, but they still. So was Horus still a son of Osiris?
It depends on what you believe, really.
Oh man. So he may have been Thoth's son? Or is Thoth using his like?
I think he's the DNA son. Like, he's got Osiris's DNA, but maybe not from direct sexual intercourse. More like in vitro fertilization, or this artificial meiosis process.
Yes.
When
Joey.
Horus came of age after being raised by his mother secretly, he waged war against Seth, and this began the first Pyramid War, which we have talked about. And then Seth became a synonym of Satan. So
Right. More or less, the first adversary. Well, you always have Marduk, but I mean that name's Set. S-E-T. I mean, you see that the S and the T, right?
yeah,
I mean, did the word get bigger over time?
I think it grew and expanded.
Change?
Yeah, it's like the word game, right? When you have a circle of 20 people and you say one sentence to the first person, they're supposed to pass it on down the line. By the time you get to the 20th person, it could be the polar opposite of how it started, or the same as how it started, but expanded and emphasized and extrapolated.
I mean, perhaps. I mean, well,
Zeta could do anything, whether you're a nullo, or yeah, he could extract it.
oh man. I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah, they're talking about Nephilim dick now. All right, guys.
All right, so
Sorry, Adrian.
Yo, man, freedom of
They're
speech,
just
right?
curious.
We
It's
know what
okay.
happens when we go live. Like, anything's possible.
Yeah, man.
The comment
You're just here
section
for it.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit in time, right? We have Marduk, who we've had multiple episodes on. He wants to marry an earthling woman, Sarpanit. After that, he's banished to Earth forever by Anu and not allowed to be a ruler in any of the other Anunnaki outposts, planets, or empires. Because of that, Enki wanted another son to replace Marduk after after like the reign of Enlil, because Marduk had this like, he had some backlash on him from Anu and everyone else for marrying an earthling. He was like the first person to kind of break that taboo rule and not marry one of his own royal blooded Anunnaki women.
Yeah,
So
and when we talked about it, it's almost as if he did that in spite of all his family, because he was always left out of everything and given the least of it. But he handled these situations in a terrible way.
Right.
Yeah.
And because of that, Enki was determined to have a son with Ninmah to replace Marduk as an heir to the Syrian Orion throne.
Mm-hmm.
But all the kids Enki had with Ninmah were girls. They had 6 girls whose names aren't memorialized, right? We remember the sons and we hear stories about the sons, but like what happened to those 6 girls Enki had with the mother goddess, the queen mother?
Right.
So then Ninmah is like tired of all these pregnancies, so she puts a curse on Enki. Or I take that back. The most prominent daughter they had was Geshtinana. Geshtinana became a mistress of Zidda.
Dude, see, I remember her in the story of Dumuzi. I think she is the one who kind of seduced him in a way.
You
hate to see it happen in your own family.
Right. You're right.
But Nancy, I think, mentioned earlier, she said, didn't Enki and Enlil have sex with their sister? And yes, Nancy, that is Ninmah or Ninhursag.
Correct. And I have to take back my statement slightly. There are those daughters with Enki and Ninmah. There are some names and some specialties. So, like I said, Geshtinana, who was gifted at poetry and interpreting dreams. Nanshi, also called Nina, arguably Enki's most brilliant and considerate daughter. And then Nindaba, also known as Sesheta, was supposed to be the original goddess of writing.
Really?
And yeah. Maybe not the original, but she was a goddess of writing. But, I mean, they were so old, she has to be one of the OGs. Now, so we're in the Egyptian era, right? We just talked about Osiris, Set, Horus. So during this time, like Zidda, what was Ningishzidda is now exactly. We're talking about the god Thoth or Thoth in Egypt, depicted with the head of a bird, specifically the ibis bird. He's depicted as a god of wisdom and writing and poetry. And is that like an alligator dog?
That's Typhon. That's Typhon. That is symbolic of Typhon.
Right on.
The alligator, and we'll see that when we talk about Hermes as well, with him stepping on the neck of the serpent, which is very interesting, you know. But this right here, Typhon, I think, had the front half of a leopard, back half of a bear, head of an alligator. I mean, he was definitely a product of some sort of fallen angel DNA tinkering. If not just like some ancient skinwalker. I don't know. But, you know.
Yeah.
There's many ways to look at it. It's really symbolic and really esoteric in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who Typhon is. I believe. Well, no. I don't know. Maybe we can get into that. Chimera mixing is crazy. Yeah, bro.
It's the craziest.
Soul Explorer. How does Thoth relate to Hermes? We'll get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna dive into that. I mean,
Yeah, that's another
it's a good
layer.
question, Soul Explorer. Thank you.
Yeah, we've talked about genetic engineering. We've talked about writing and wisdom and building things, but we haven't talked about one of his greatest feats, which is this involvement and perhaps mastery of reincarnation.
Right.
So if you go into the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, they talk about these chambers in the halls of Amenti, where he says things like 100 times 10 I descended, and then 100 times 10 I arose in a new avatar body to begin life anew, in so many words. So it makes you wonder, like I was just talking about, what was he doing between Adam and Eve and Egypt, where there could have been 200,000 years of time? Perhaps this dude is just in the reincarnation chamber getting after it. Like back to back to back, just reincarnating, living a life or experiencing life.
Shredded, dude. Like,
right?
Dudes that never leave the gym, he's never leaving the reincarnation chamber.
Straight up, dude. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, yeah, it's was he just studying? Like, I don't know. What would one do in that amount of time? I mean, obviously he was like a demigod, ancient being type of dude. Yeah, he had the time to do that. Because like we talked about before, where he's from now, whether Nibiru is a planet, a dimension, whatever, time works different there, right? Was it 1 year there is 3,600 years on Earth?
Correct.
So Amon Rat says, what was his goal? Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Subliminal.
Thoth, or Zeta's goal, I believe, was very much like his father, which was to proliferate the Earth with intelligent life, build structures that created energies of high frequency to either pay homage or respect to constellations or just important parts of planet Earth, whether that's the pyramids in Egypt or the pyramids of Mexico. Like, there's another tangent where we were going to get into at some point during this episode, where I'll tell you about some of the things I learned at the Forbidden Conference in Florida a couple months ago. And
you told me about that.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. And it just makes you appreciate what Egypt was and how special it was, but also all of these pyramids on Earth that have the similar building styles. If you go into the mathematics of them, it's creating a giant global piano. So there's harmonic resonances based on the mathematics of the pyramids and based on the coordinates of the pyramids on Earth. And literally, when you unpack it, it's a giant Earth piano. And Thoth and Enki were in on this.
Really?
Big time.
Wow. That's incredible. Dude, I've been looking more into the pyramids being, sound frequency, like what you just said. I love how you put that, a giant piano for the Earth. Makes you wonder how many more there actually are that we don't even know about.
Dozens and dozens, if not more.
Under the
ocean. They're not all massive, but think about, I'm no musical expert, but think about the scales and the subscales and the various frequencies and subfrequencies and A minor, A major, like the list goes on. And
yeah, man. Dude, I had Brad Lale on from the Awaken podcast, and he talks about the 33rd parallel, and he started talking about like when you go into the woods and some of these like along these ley lines, there's like these rock structures that no one knows about, but like hunters and stuff, and like people that live in that area, and it's all along this certain ley line, man. It's incredible. I
Big
mean,
time.
it really is. Makes you wonder what frequencies all those different chambers were tuned to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, Zero. Fuck. I don't know what just happened. Good morning, Xerox. So this picture right here, like I said, this is Typhon. There's Thoth. He's writing on the wall a story, or I mean, you've been to Egypt, right? You've been a
Twice.
few times.
Yeah.
Twice. Okay. And here he is right here with his ankh. That looks like a key to something. To be honest with you, and he has serpents on his head. That's a wild headdress, dude. It doesn't look too comfy or cozy.
No, it almost looks like the Libra symbol of like balancing the scales.
Whoa.
You know, I wonder if Thoth was a Libra.
Maybe right. What's this on his staff? Is that what he built the pyramids with? I don't know.
It kind of looks like it's kind of hard to tell. I was going to say an animal like reptilian head, but it's almost too skinny to really commit to that.
Well, we've talked about how the ibis beak was symbolic of him pulling sustenance out of the ground or out of darkness and bringing it into the light. Or
exactly.
I mean, it's the same. Yeah, dude, it's the same thing with Typhon. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. It's the same thing with Typhon being low to the ground, right? And him treading on it.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if they're the same exact species as the ancient Egyptian ibis birds, but there are ibis birds in America and in South Carolina where I live, and you can watch them walk around the pond, and they look just like this. And they pluck things out of the water, and then they kind of bring it up to the surface and either eat it or discard it and repeat. So, yeah, the symbolism was Thoth would go underground. That's a correct statement in that comment.
Yep.
White limestone. So yeah, the symbolism is Thoth would go underground to extract the knowledge and bring it from darkness to light. So that can be done through, excavating old writings or artifacts with ancient knowledge and bringing that to the surface level to teach the people. That can be done by going underground to the reincarnation chamber and coming out to the surface as a new avatar body whose purpose is to educate and enlighten the world, kind of like a Jesus Messiah type figure.
Yeah.
And the teachings of Jesus relate to the emerald tablets of Thoth in a profound way.
I've seen that as well. I've seen that. Some of it almost word for word. Which Subliminal pointed this out. Look at the cube he's sitting on. It's Fibonacci. Like
good observation. It's almost
nice
like is that almost the golden ratio? Or like the rotating spiral? It looks like
it's almost very pleasing to the mind to think about. Just perfect proportionate. I love that, dude. You make it smaller and smaller and smaller. That can go on forever, right? I mean, in a way.
And there's another thing I've noticed about Thoth that is unlike some of the other gods, whether it's Marduk, Enki, Enlil, Ninurta. He is not, other than his calves, right? He's not that jacked.
He's not jacked. No.
So he's literally like the god of knowledge and wisdom and not fighting. At least in the depictions. He's just
dude.
He's just a regular dude, a regular god with normal.
He's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Just a regular guy. Oh man.
Yeah, maybe he was doing yoga in those reincarnation chambers and not, back squats or muscle ups.
Wasn't getting jacked. He was just meditating.
Just getting
He
spiritually.
skipped leg days.
I mean, yeah, compared to Ninurta, Calfzilla.
Dude, and Marduk, both of them. Yeah, those guys are jacked, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they're drinking creatine. They're jacked. They're drinking the straight gold. They're probably breaking it down and mainlining it as well or whatever.
that Fertile Crescent creatine.
Yeah. But so how long did he rule in Egypt? It's like 14,000 years.
Yeah, I want to say roughly, I could pull up the timeline, but it was at least 10 for a period. And
that's before any known pharaoh, right? Like way before. Again, that's back when Egypt was called Kemet.
Correct.
Which,
they were
that's where
ruled
alchemy comes.
Yeah. They were ruled by gods before the pharaohs came along. And the pharaoh became like the middleman priest king who would do the will of the ruling god, but also, have to answer to the populace. Let's do a line of gold. I mean, it's probably good for you.
That'd be
probably
something.
healthy for you.
Why were they all jacked? I don't know, Nancy. They had to look the part.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to be as a humanoid in the universe with 2 arms and 2 legs in a musculoskeletal structure, I think the Anunnaki just were achievers of their full potential, ordainers of destiny. And like a lot of them had to go to martial arts training before they became war fighters or pilots or generals or commanders. Like they would be in hand-to-hand combat training. Like Inanna is an example of that. I'm sure Ninurta had to do the same thing. So they were skilled in hand-to-hand combat and technological warfare. But it just seems like Thoth might have not attended PE class. He just he was all about like literature and other stuff. Respectfully, Thoth, I hope you don't cast a ray of vibration down on me because I like you a lot.
Well, dude, when you speak of Inanna, I remember you telling me that she was like a princess, but at the same time like a warrior, almost like a ninja. I don't know.
A ninja.
And yeah. And that you see that with that side of this bloodline. You see, like you were saying earlier, them going to war, them blowing up cities. So I just forgot, dude. I was gonna bring up something about Ishtar. Oh yeah, no. So the ancient fighting and stuff that came from the even more ancient wrestling matches that we've talked about in our past episodes.
Right.
There was something to it. I don't know if it was just like a power thing, because then you see Jacob wrestle with God in the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's symbolic, like me and you talked about when Alelu and Anu wrestle, that it may be symbolic, right?
Possibly. I definitely think that Jacob and God in the Bible was symbolic of a verbal tussle. They were trying to
Wow.
find a mutual, and we talk about this in like Pantheon 2 or 3, but they were trying to find a mutual understanding or agreement, and I believe that was symbolic of them just having a respectful debate to come to a conclusion. And then I do think the Anu Alelu wrestling match was a real physical like encounter with spectators, and implications for the victor and bad implications for the loser. And once all that, in Pantheon 1, we talk about the prehistory of Nibiru and the power dynamics in the warfare. And maybe like once things calm down and they're like, it's better for us to coexist together and fix these like climate disasters on Nibiru, which is messing up our planet, versus fighting each other. Maybe that's when like hand-to-hand combat took over instead of direct technological warfare. It was like a more respectful, gentlemanly way to handle a conflict. This is just my opinion, right?
Almost like a duel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, instead of my country going to go blow up your country, our leader will just go have a wrestling match with your leader, and whoever wins,
They should still do this
today. I agree, bro.
Yeah. Because I mean, really, who's fighting these wars today? Like, who's really like it's? I mean, they're making us fight for them, but they're the ones that want to fight each other. The people at the top. It's not humanity, right?
It's the old suits with money making the young, hungry 18 to 25-year-old lions go risk their lives in the name of whatever cause it is. Some are good, some are bad. It's all up for debate, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, and you hate to see it, but at the same time, I do respect people who go and fight. It takes a lot. At the same time, there are a lot of people who probably don't know what they're fighting for. However, it is a very noble move. So,
oh yeah,
thank you to everybody serving out there.
Shout out, big respect. Like we wouldn't be here safely without you. Like it takes violence to maintain peace.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a balance thing. I think it's where you see a lot that falls into the symbolism. I guess we can go ahead. I'll pull this picture up real fast. You see a lot of that duality stuff when you look at Hermes, and isn't it funny how the Hermetic principles line up with the stuff taught in the Emerald Tablets?
Oh, big time.
It's practically the same thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we got this guy, and this is from Secret Teachings of All Ages. And right here, we see yet another symbolic reference to the alligator. Let me share this screen. So, I mean, this is Hermes Trismegistus.
One of my favorite photos.
Yeah, I want to get a poster of this. He's crushing the serpent, and you see the ibis bird right here.
Right.
I love it. And then you got the dog right here. We could get into the dog star, and how you see the symbolism of Sirius a whole lot in these ancient depictions.
And I wonder if that's an homage to his mother, Ereshkigal. Like this.
How so?
Well, where is her lineage? Is she part of the Enlil side?
She is the daughter. Ereshkigal is the daughter of the Islamic god Nanarsin
Right. He was the son
and
of Enlil.
Ningal.
Yeah.
Ningal, who is a daughter of Enki, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before in these ancient bloodlines. You see that they marry their cousins or their like half sisters or something. It's really weird, but it comes with the stories. Can't really avoid it, right? The promiscuity. Yeah, it's kind of everywhere in there. So like I said, guys, how these beings acted, it reminds me a lot of just the characteristics of humans. These were just very ancient humans almost. Right, Adrian?
Yeah. They were. They're humanoid with a brain, 2 lungs, 2 legs.
Heart.
Exactly.
Some of them maybe not.
The difference is, potentially some DNA differences and some brain activation differences, and potentially like some sixth senses, clairvoyance, telepathy, intuition. But they were humanoid who had to be bound by the laws of Earth gravity, just like us. And then their technology made them seem like magicians or gods or the sky people.
Right. Oh man, it's fantastic. Yeah, dude, this picture is awesome. What does he have in his right hand? Is that the alchemical emerald tablet?
Those are the green emerald tablets, for sure. And they're actually just kind of floating. He's not really holding it.
So are they in the ether? Is it like an Akashic record or something?
Man, it's possible.
Not so much a physical text.
Yeah, there's some controversy over the origin of the emerald tablets. Like there's one tablet that's assigned to Hermes, right? And then with the emerald tablets of Thoth, there is like 12 or 13 chapters, maybe more. I think the 13th chapter is
we can get into this for a second. I know Subliminal. I know he wants to do an episode with me on the Emerald Tablets. I was going to try and get you on that as well, maybe. I think you would like what he has to say.
I'd love to answer this question.
Yeah.
It's like his father is from the Orion lineage, but his mother has serious connections, right? And so if we're calling Orion the dragon serpent side and Sirius the dog star side, then that explains these two animals. And then the ibis bird, the Sirius dog star side is also related to Enlil, who took the depiction of the eagle or the all-seeing eye, the sky predator,
the sky god.
Yeah. And maybe the ibis bird is also like, if you want to reach a little bit, it's like he's similar to a sky god, but he's down to earth with the people. He's not up there flying around looking to swoop down and like pick up or kill rodents.
Interesting.
He's got the energy of a bird, but he's with the humans on the ground, bringing the knowledge to them.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, you do this to me a lot, man. You make me think. That's good.
But look at his staff, his rod with the caduceus, and then eagle wings on top.
Holding his rod.
Like, he's got all the symbols.
Yeah, he does have the wings on the top of it and the caduceus. Look at his pants. It's almost like the pyramid.
You
see that? It's angled in a way. I don't know, dude. Like I said, a lot of these images are very symbolic.
I think he knew it was photo album day when they took this picture, because I think he did legs right before.
And is this like arm jewelry? You notice he has these bands
Yeah.
on and those ancient I'll pull one up in a second.
Golden.
You see the watches that they wear.
Yeah.
Man.
But
And
he's
it looks like
different.
there's
He
a
kind of
chain
does
running, but I don't know.
Yeah, he like does his own thing. It's almost like that could mean like connecting upper and lower Egypt, or connecting the underworld with the above world, or the earth to outer space is kind of what I'm thinking. But he's not rocking the wristwatches like
guess.
Marduk, and he's not rocking the tattoos like Marduk. He's literally like his own unique.
Marduk was like a biker. Yeah, dude. He was covered in tats, huge beard. This guy, I mean, he has this little.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what that is?
Right.
Maybe part of his headdress, but he's not like shagged out, looking like Grizzly Adams.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
we are. Yeah.
He there's some theories that he influenced and pioneered like the Buddhist culture, and he was like the original Buddha. But like, don't think of like the fat Buddha. Think of like this dude, but with a little Confucius type beard only. So it just it corroborates the look, right? We never see him with that deep, thick Viking beard or anything. He's always just kind of a pleasant, humble, normal looking dude. Unless he's wearing, his ibis bird mask, but that's all artwork. So
yeah, Nancy said, "What's with the swan?" It's an ibis bird, Nancy. It's not a swan.
Don't get it twisted now.
Yeah. And then with the dog right there, right behind the dog, you see the pyramids.
Right.
Yeah.
Those dogs, a dog that looks like that, they live right by the pyramids to this day. They're just
really?
Like, yes. Like there's like a little pack of them. They just roam around.
Are they like feral and vicious, or are they cool? They just chill?
Dude, I think they're pretty cool so true story. You ready?
Yeah, dude. Yes.
2019. We're working at the pyramids. We're about to film a concert at the pyramids. We're setting up all day. And someone on our team gets a little sick because he doesn't have access to the luxuries that the American lifestyle would for that week. Maybe he was a little dehydrated, and he walked away from the production area probably less than a quarter mile into the desert just to like get away from everything. And I think he ended up throwing up a little bit in the desert, and he got surrounded by some dogs who thought he was about to like die and become food. And so like that's this ongoing story joke from us that like those dogs are cool unless you pretend like you're going to die and become their dinner.
Dude.
But it looked just like that dog in the depiction. Like they're out there.
Spot on.
Yeah. But my coworker ended up getting his shit together and coming back to work and not dying.
I was going to say, how'd that story end?
I
was hoping he was okay.
We lost him.
So this picture, this is also Hermes.
Yes.
And right here, he's doing the as above, so below, right? With his hands.
And he is a little older, wiser, and more bearded.
Right. This came after Thoth, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, how?
We're now in the Greek tradition.
Correct. Okay.
Where he was known as the god of trade, communication, travelers, thieves, and boundaries.
Wow.
So almost like, I don't really know what that means, the god of thieves, but all right. Associated with cleverness, mischief, and trickery, which really, it sounds more like his father, Enki. It might just be a trait that he inherited.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about earlier. Yeah, man. I mean, I was gonna say we could try to enlarge the image, but Joey. Oh yeah, you do have dogs, don't you, Joey?
Oh man.
Kitty dogs.
But
He
are
still
you
loves dogs, I think.
those desert dogs are different, man.
Yeah, I mean, probably similar to dingoes, right?
Maybe a dingo ate your baby.
Nancy said, "Joey, don't die; they will eat you." Let's see. So, I mean, yeah, we were just kind of giving an outline of Ningishzidda on this episode, guys. I did want to say I started watching last night that show Chaos with Jeff Goldblum, where he's
Okay.
Zeus.
Tell me
And
about it.
okay, so so basically it's the setting is in Crete and Mount Olympus is right above and Zeus is worshipped. He's like a celebrity, as is Hera, Dionysus, Hades, like all of them. But they're all like human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dude, the symbolism. First off, Dionysus is walking around the whole first episode in a fucking Baphomet shirt.
Oh
Right?
my. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like making out with dudes and girls in bars. Like he's non-binary. It's a very woke show, right? So I have to get past that. But when you go to the first scene on Mount Olympus and Zeus is sitting there and his power is represented by this water, like a circle of water. It's like it looks like a water portal.
Okay.
And you see a peacock right next to, I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, Malek Taus, the peacock angel that the Yazidi tribe talked about, like, which goes into the worship of Enki and all, like the sigil of Enki. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I got a bunch of notes to review the first episode on a stream, so I think I'm going to review the whole show. I think it'd be fun. So maybe we could talk. Right, Nancy? Can't imagine Jeff Goldblum is any. Oh, I put in the notes. I'm like, very effeminate Zeus. Show is very gay.
Yeah.
I bring that up a lot in the notes. I'm like, oh my God, no. Like, but at the same time, it's interesting to see the symbolism. And I was like, I haven't really talked about anything like that yet. Haven't done like a symbolism episode for any like movie or TV show. I think that'd be cool. I think people would like that. So I'm gonna hopefully I can like pull it up. Maybe we can watch some of it on a stream. Yeah, Nancy, definitely. I mean, him and Hera are married, but they don't act like they're married. But it talks about how Dionysus' mother was a woman who Hera turned into like a bug or something. I don't know, a bird maybe. And there you go with Zeus, like hooking up with women. And we know that Zeus is a son of Enlil, Ishkur, or Hadad. Which, and I want to get into that side. Maybe we can we can come back to Thoth and kind of, I don't know, do an episode on Ninurta or Sin or Ishkur maybe. Because Enlil only really has, 3 sons?
Ninurta, Nanar, Ishkur.
Yeah, 3 sons. He's very fond of his grandchildren. He's very fond of Shamash. Shamash is another one of those ones that's like super jacked, right? The sun god. Yeah, man. And that's going to be a fun episode as well. He was the last leader of the fallen, the last of the fallen, the last of the Ajiji. And so so every Tuesday I do production for a show called Already Dead. And someone was in the comments, we had William Ramsey on. and someone was in the comments. I think there was this. I can't remember the guy's name. I have to give him a shout out next show. I brought up Semyaza or Samael, and he goes, "Well, I don't." He goes, "Don't think Samael and Semyaza are the same." Samael apparently fell before the story of Semyaza. So it does go back to what Todd Cave was saying to me about Samael maybe being inky.
I see. You've brought that up before, yeah.
Yeah. So just something else to look into, dude. You know? Yes, Joey. He may be gay on the show. I haven't gotten that far, but once you get past all the woke stuff, it's actually, but like everyone's named, like one of the dude's name is like Orpheus. Like everyone's named after, like it's kind of weird. It's like it's in Greece and it's kind of laid out as ancient Greece, but it's modern day.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the Greek gods never
went away.
Yeah. And but they're not depicted as good people, you know. They never are.
Complex cultures with tons of potential but tons of flaws. And
or the same fella keeps playing the reincarnation. Yeah, the same fellas, man. There's I mean, you see this whole family reincarnate over time, and you can see their earlier names in some of these other names that they have, as well as their earlier attributes come up in later attributes, and then they're giving, like, they switch them around sometimes, and they'll, like, almost, when you read these Sumerian stories, as if they, like, are granted this title, right?
Yeah.
They have to go and talk to the person. And be like, hey, and we've talked about the ranks, that goes to the ranks of the angels and all that stuff. There's a lot of ways to look at it, guys. This is just one way to look at it. What we find is the most interesting way. And you can get into these other stories. Well, yeah, Joey, but if you're aware of that, which I am, I don't think it would hurt to review a TV show. Maybe you feel differently, Joey. I don't know. I don't really watch TV. I wouldn't say it's on Netflix. And I barely watch that. I just my wife pulled me in there last night to watch something, and then of course she's asleep in 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to watch? And I just saw it, and I was like, oh, cool, Pantheon. You know,
yeah.
Let's check this show out. And yeah, man, it's interesting to say the least. I only watched the first episode. There's 8 episodes, so may do a few shows on that. Huh?
What was the name of the show?
Chaos. Kaos.
Okay.
Yeah. Check it out. Right. I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah, man. I wish I could stay longer, but
I know. Hey, man.
I'm on the clock in Los Angeles today, or about to be on the clock.
I got you, man. Well, dude, you know, I'm happy to have you back. I hope everything's good with your mom. Is she good? I know you had mentioned that she had a house fire.
Yeah, she had an electrical fire that started in her walls, and thanks for everyone that's reached out. She had to move out of her place, but it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because you could say she was due for an upgrade, or she's deserved an upgrade, but nothing caught on fire or burned down or was destroyed. It was just the electrical fire in the wall created a lot of smoke, and so the fire department had to, like, come in, kick the doors in, and, like, hose down things to remove the smoke. This is, late August, early September, so we're several weeks removed from that, but thank you for your well wishes. Thanks to everyone who hit the GoFundMe. We raised $5,000 on GoFundMe in like 2 weeks, and that was amazing, the goal. Man. So, like, it was a profound blessing for that help to be received. So thank you to everyone. And yeah, lots more to talk about, man. Like on the next time, we should just start with the Forbidden Conscious Awards and everything that I learned from like Billy Carson,
Dude,
Robert
I
Edward
forgot
Grant.
for you to bring that up, man. Oh,
Yeah,
dude. My bad.
dude,
My bad.
dude, it'll be more meat on the
Write it
bone, or like
down and
a
we'll talk about it
cliffhanger.
on the next episode, bro.
It'll be a cliffhanger for the next episode. But I mean, Robert Edward Grant, Muhammad Ibrahim, like I was hanging out with all these cats, learning
Guys who
learning
you've been
things.
watching on this, you've been on the sideline kind of watching them for years, and you had a chance to talk to them. Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'd love to hear more about that. Like I said, forgive me for forgetting to bring that up.
Nah, we went deep into everything, man.
Well, do you want to tell people where to find you? I was gonna let you get out of here, and I was gonna talk for another 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. I'm gonna start reconstructing the book's Instagram, but in the meantime, you can find me on social media at Adrian West HQ. Specifically, that's my Instagram handle. That's a quick way to reach me, and that's probably the best way to reach out right now. If not, go on the Gray Pilled Instagram or YouTube and leave a comment, leave your questions, leave some ideas of topics you want us to cover. And yeah, books on Amazon, Pantheon 1, The Golden Veins.
And Adrian West HQ on Instagram and Twitter, right?
Correct. Oh, you tagged me on Twitter. I like calling it Twitter more than X.
But
yeah,
I know. I do that too. Yeah, brother. Well, man, thank you for coming and hanging out today. Like I said, it's been a while, so this was fun, and we will do another one soon for sure.
Yes. Thanks
Have
for
a good
patience
Sunday, man.
during my absence, man.
Of course, man. Of course. I'd wait for you.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, I kind of been talking about it a little bit, but haven't really done like an Elohim etymology episode. But I've pulled up your chart on a couple like live streams I've done and kind of showed a little bit. So yeah, man. No, this was fun.
Badass. I agree. Until next time.
All right, Adrian. Later, brother.
Peace, everyone. Stay gray-pilled.
That was fun, guys. Yeah, Joey. Look, I mean, Assbutt, thank you, man. Yeah, no, that was fun, guys. This is the first one we really done live. He came on that one time. I told him, I was like, yeah, that one time that Nephilim Death Squad raided us, the chat never left. So he liked that. Only gay porn for me and Joel Olstein. Joey. Billy Carson. Yeah, look. It is what it is. We're just coming at this subject and kind of looking at it from all perspectives. I don't agree with a lot that Billy Carson says, but he talks about this stuff too. So it's okay. It's okay. We can question things without believing in them, right? That's what shit they don't teach you in school. Yeah. And right. Guys, thank y'all for coming and hanging out. I hope y'all enjoyed. That was awesome. I didn't plan on doing it on Ningishzidda. We were going to do Marduk part 3, but I mean, I talk about Marduk so much being like the main Satan deity worship to or pray to. I figured we could branch off and kind of get into some mysticism, ancient Kemet. Next episode, we are going to talk about Thoth or Ningishzidda, his role in alchemy and how it comes from the land of Kim. And, thanks, Stacks. Appreciate it, man. It's fun, dude. It's fun. And this is like us going into a topic we didn't really plan for this episode. Yeah, it's a good time though. I'm doing a cryptid watch later, guys. Got a lot of cool videos. Actually made a folder on X and got a bunch of videos on there to watch. That will be tonight. Subliminal Messenger will be joining me. So y'all come and kick it. We just watch cryptid videos for a few hours and shoot the shit. It's a good time. What's a good website to look at to get some more basic info? Curtis, I'll find something good for you. It's one of those subjects where there's so much, it can be hard to keep up. Yes. Yeah. And so many. Yeah, look, the Manly P. Hall, that's a whole different aspect to this kind of stuff, is the esoteric symbolism and how these deities are worshipped. Like, people think everyone is in the Illuminati. We all know that it's really not one group. It's many smaller groups, many different mystery schools that make up this one large group, right? So it's important, I think it is, to kind of, if you want to, I'm kind of a nerd about it, but to look at these deities and who's being worshipped, the symbolism, you really can, if you pay attention, you can see the symbolism in a lot of things, movies. If y'all think that's a good idea for me to do some episodes on that show, I would like to do that as well. So y'all let me know. My signal is being a cunt right now. Getting a little better. No, back to shit. Am I lagging? I don't know who sent me this, but thank you. Hold on. This is great. This was great. And Adrian really loved it. Maybe we'll do a Yakub episode. I know me and Subliminal, we're going to get into that maybe. This is fucking great. Top, put this shit on a shirt, dude. Just do it. Y'all are talking about food in the chat now. I'm getting hungry. But no. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. That was awesome. This out of there. Anyway, yeah, Cryptid Watch later. I think Nephilim Murder Crew may be going live later. They usually go live on Sundays, right? I think so. So if y'all want to, you can follow me on Instagram, graypill_podcast. I'm on Twitter at graypillpod. Guys, I have a Patreon. There's a $2 tier, and after a couple more episodes of doing this on live streams, we may switch it to Patreon. I mean, it's a $2 tier. We can talk about a lot more stuff on there, and yeah, no, it's just something that we may do. So you can go to patreon.com/graypillpodcast and subscribe there. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm on BitChute too. I haven't uploaded anything there in quite some time. I may do that today. It's hard to put anything that's like too big of a file on the BitChute. So, but yeah. Anyway, guys, let me see if there's anything else I missed. May see my buddy today that is going to be printing my merch. So I will figure out a little more about that. He's dealing with some stuff right now. We all do at times, Let's see. Okay. So yeah, Cryptid Watch later with Subliminal Messenger. 8:30, 9 o'clock. One of those times. I don't know what would be better to go on earlier. Like I said, if Nephilim Murder Crew goes live at 7:15, it's usually 7:15. Then we'll do 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So, yeah, guys, again, thank y'all for hanging out. And hopefully I'll see y'all later. I don't know if there's any more shows today. I don't know if Raven is doing a TLC today. So stay posted. He may be. Yeah, hopefully I will see y'all later tonight for Crypto Watch. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out on this episode of Elohim Etymology, guys. Stay gray-pilled. Peace.
Spread the word with propaganda packs, all for just $40 shipped at paranoidamerican.com.
Paranoid propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack with these paranoid propaganda packs.
These huge all-weather slaps will last in public for years to come. Remind citizens that birds are not real. Self-immolation is an option, and might make you magnetic. Do your part and get a propaganda pack today from paranoidamerican.com.
Yeah, paranoid propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack with these paranoid propaganda packs.
What are you waiting for? Go to paranoidamerican.com right now and get a paranoid propaganda pack.
Gather round, all you mystery seekers. We're diving deep into the dark, exploring realms beyond what's known, where the secrets of the shadows leave their mark. Come take a ride on the Great Old Express, where esoteric knowledge is our guest. From conspiracies to cryptids, we unveil the veil. Mysticism and the occult are forbidden.